Yeah, it's mindset cafe, we all about that mindset. Gotta stay focused, never settle for less. It's all in your head, how you think you manifest. So get ready to rise, cause we about to be the best. Gotta switch it up, gotta break the old habits. Get your mind right, turn your dreams into habits. No negative vibes, only positive.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It is our Friday night live episode with yours truly, your boy Devin. And today, it is a solo episode. Our boy Nick is out. He has a little bit of the flu. But, regardless, it's one of those things where we show up, whether it's a solo episode with Nick, whether it's a solo episode with myself. Friday nights, we go live. It's Friday Night Lives. So today's episode, while it is still a Q&A, like always, I want you guys to be able to still ask questions. This is a time where you can ask any question related to your fitness, your mindset, your nutrition, anything in the personal development space. It is all fair game. But in the meantime, until we, get some stuff rolling in, I want to make sure that, you guys are getting a topic, to go along with everything. So with that being said, today's episode is going to be titled The Price Tag Problem. Stop letting the cost block your success and focus really on the value. And that's a huge thing, for us, because at the end of the day, the price is the price, right? And sometimes we look at that and we hold ourselves back from investing in ourselves or investing in something that's going to have a huge ROI, return on investment, for our journey or basically the goal that we want to achieve. So this episode, I really want to dive into that a little bit more. But if you guys have anything related to your personal development questions, by all means, throw it in the comments. I am more than happy to dive into any of those. With that being said, let me real quick. A little technical difficulty. Try that again. All right, there we go. All right. So with that being said, let's dive in, until you guys, start throwing some stuff in the comments. It is all about you guys today. But I want to dive into, especially with it being the new year, right? This is the time when everyone starts to set that New Year's resolution or set these goals that they're trying to achieve. And sometimes we have a limited mindset in terms of we're not thinking of abundance, and we're thinking in a scarcity mindset, which tends to hold us back from really achieving those goals. So with that being said, the summary kind of today's episode, I really want to focus on the cost of really achieving your goals, right? Whether it's a financial cost, whether it's a time cost, or really whether it's an effort cost. Things of value have a cost to them, right? There's an analogy that is said, basically, if you put your fridge out on the sidewalk, right, and you put free, people are tending to drive by it. They think something's wrong with it, so they're just gonna drive by. But you put that same fridge out there and you put a $100 sign on it, all of a sudden that fridge is gonna be picked up in a day or so. So the thing is, with the price tag, realize that there's a value tag to it as well. It costs something because it's worth the investment, right? And so you have to really think about, sometimes it's not just money. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's physical effort, right? Let's say fitness, for example. It takes effort and time to achieve your goal. Whether you sign up for a gym or not, it's one of those things where if you want to lose 30 pounds, well, there's an effort cost that goes along with that you're going to have to expend a certain amount of calories and create a deficit for you to hit that goal. But also there's a time cost. You're not going to lose 30 pounds in a day, right? So it goes into whatever goal you set for yourself. Realize that the cost is something, and you have to really understand that there's the long-term value of it. Don't be so fixated on the short-term cost. Fixate on what is the ROI of this investment. What is the return on me investing the time, the effort, or the money into whatever the goal may be, right? So in the comments, I want you guys to put, the first thing is, what is the investment that you are going to make for yourself in 2025, right? What is the, whether it's a fitness goal, whether it's a business goal, an entrepreneurship goal, whether it's just a personal development, whatever the case may be, what is the goal you are setting for yourself in 2025, right? Ernesto said he needs to go back to the gym after eating all the tamales he ate for the holidays. Yes, sir. You and your wife both need to get in here. So with that being said, you guys, like, what are the goals that you guys are setting for yourselves, right? What are the goals you're setting for yourself in 2025? And let's dive into what are the costs kind of fixated around that, right? Let's see, got some more comments right here. Okay, never mind. The comment is not worth going into. Let's see. Ernesto said fitness is his goal for 2025, and business-wise, I will open up another office in Nevada. I mean, that's huge. Congratulations. You know, I'm already giving you congratulations, and you haven't even achieved it yet. But at the same time, like, I want you to set your goal a little more honed down, right? Fitness. What is your fitness goal, right? Is it to even? It doesn't have to be a weight loss goal. It doesn't have to be a muscular goal. Is your goal to essentially come in 365 days? Like, what is your actual numerical value to your goal? With your business one, you want to open up another location in Nevada. What is your execution date, right? What are those things, right? We want to get a little more finite on the timeline. Now, in terms of, you know, let's say the fitness, it's obviously that one. If he's one of our members here at the gym, so there is a money cost to it, but at the end of the day, there's a time cost. There's every time he's coming into the gym, he has to, work out. He has to spend an hour, or 30 minutes to an hour and a half in the gym, that he's not focusing on his business and the effort that he's putting in when, he's in the gym. That has a effort cost to it as well to achieve that goal. As far as the business goal, there should be a time frame on it, but it might take a little bit of time to allocate the financial aspect to it. It's going to cost some time and it's going to cost some effort creating, extended systems and processes to achieve that. But then also the investment, the money cost to opening up an additional office in Nevada. So, I mean, that one, both of those hit all three to a degree, which is, I mean, the return on investment is going to be huge, right? It's one of those things where coming to a gym where someone's already telling you what to do, you already getting kind of a blueprint to your goal. And in terms of the ROI on your business investment, I mean, yes, you initially have to spend money. So there's an initial loss, but then all of a sudden now your income, right, is going to be growing. So that's the return on investment is definitely has an upside to that. Ernesto also said, after my stroke, I'm watching what I'm eating and my eating habits. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, believe me. I mean, I've known you for a long time, man. And it's one of those things where we tend to get in our ways, or we think that, we're going to be the same forever. And all of a sudden, maybe a life event, unfortunately, like a stroke or, a business not working or, being in a financial hardship has to hit for us to all of a sudden realize that we need to make a serious change. So I think that, as unfortunate as it was, you could also look at it as, a blessing to get more serious on the things that you need to be more serious about. So you can look at it as a negative, or you can look at it from the upside as well. But the price tag problem, again, guys, make sure you guys are throwing what else you guys have for your goals in 2025. And let's dive into what is the price tag of your goal. Right. That's what I want to dive into a little bit in the beginning, is your price tags of your guys' goals. But really understanding that we fixate so much on, what is the cost, whether it's time, effort, or money. And we overlook really the long-term value, the growth, whether it's personal growth, whether it's, financial growth. And then the freedom and the results, you know, again, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, whatever the case is, we overlook that long-term value. For example, when Nick and I launched the franchise, we had to drop a good amount of money to hire a franchise advisor. I mean, we didn't have to, granted. I mean, we could have just read some books and, you know, gone that way and, you know, nickel and dimed our way to launching the franchise. But we made the investment because we knew that investing in someone else's basically blueprint and getting help from someone else that has already walked that path was going to help us, you know, basically condense our timeline to success. Now, there was an initial, you know, cost to it, which was financial, but also time spent with the advisor. But the return on investment was, and the long-term value is, we have a stronger foundation for the franchise than if we would have just tried to figure out ourselves, right? We have been able to overcome some hurdles a little bit faster, having a resource that has already walked the walk. So again, it's there's the long-term value that you need to look at, and not just what is this initial cost. Let's say signing up for gym, it's January, right? You know, everyone's looking for the right gym and stuff. Now, I will say, coming from the personal training side and coming from, you know, being a personal trainer and having a personal training business before we opened up Strive, one thing I've noticed over the years working for, you know, corporate gyms and private gyms, then my own business, people will tend to sign up for a gym that's maybe $10 a month, $20 a month. And while that's completely fine, by all means, but then what tends to happen is all of a sudden they go into the gym and then they realize that they still don't know what to do. So now either one of two things happens. One, they stop going as much. And that's why January, February, March is all busy in the gym. And then by April, it's back to normal, right? Or two, they end up having to hire a personal trainer at that $10 or $20 gym, and $20 a month gym. And now they're spending anywhere from $100 to, you know, $500 a month, because they realize that while that initial price tag was the reason that why they got in, that the return on investment for them saving that money isn't a huge return on investment, because they still don't know what to do. Or, you know, other people come to, you know, places like Strive, they may see the initial cost of Strive, while it is still really competitive to personal training, it's cheaper than personal training. But initially they're like, oh man, this is more than, you know, a $10 a month gym or $20 a month gym. And they undervalue what the actual return on investment is in terms of their fitness, their success, and having a trainer already kind of cooked into the price. So again, when you guys are looking at your goals and looking at your things you guys are investing in, you have to realize that, again, cheaper isn't always better. More expensive isn't always better either. You have to look at what is the product, what is the service, and what is the value that I'm going to get out of this, right? Thank you, Ernesto. You said all gyms suck. Strive is the best. Appreciate you, brother. So realize that the cost it may feel scarier than it is, right? The cost initially, you see this, all of a sudden, you know, you see the cost, whether it's going to take a year, whether it's $100 a month, or, I mean, we're part of a network group that we spend, you know, hundreds of dollars a month, you know, and the return on investment for that, while there's no financial return on investment, there's an indirect financial investment, because the skills that we learn as business owners, the skills and the network that we get to be a part of, again, helping us condense our timeline, there is still a return on investment. So initially when I heard the cost of, you know, the networking group, I was like, I don't know. And then I had to really think about it and be like, man, everyone that has succeeded or is at the level that I aspire to be at, you know, and Nick just as well, like, we agreed that this is one of those things where you have to invest in yourself, and you have to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be, right? You don't, if you've ever heard that saying, you know, you are basically the 5 people that you surround yourself with, it's true. So if you surround yourself with people that are also pushing themselves, and they're also, you know, continuously striving for more, then you are going to inevitably be the same way. You're not going to be that odd man out. But realize that the costs can feel scary, and that's okay. Like, that's normal. But realize that that's not what should be holding you back, right? There's a psychology of loss aversion, and a lot of people, that's maybe why a lot of people are, fear spending as a resource more than, missing the opportunity. So realize that your fear of spending is holding you back, and you're losing out on opportunities to grow, to hit your goals. And if you've had the same resolution for the last few years, and you've taken the quick fix or the quick out or the cheaper investment, it's like, maybe that's the reason why it's the same resolution that you continuously have. That initial price tag is scaring you, but you also know deep down in your heart that price tag is probably the thing that's going to get you to where you want to be. So realize that, like, for example, you're saving money to buy some shoes, right? And you continuously spend money on, let's say, cheaper shoes. I mean, I will say this, I'm not a person that buys flashy shoes. I mean, my favorite shoes are Vans, but let's say you're continuously buying these cheap shoes and you're having to replace them more often. It's like, that actually has a negative return on investment, because you're having to buy them more frequently. You might as well just bought the pair that's going to last you a little bit longer, right? If you're a business owner, you're avoiding having to spend money on marketing because it costs a lot, and yet you're failing to grow your business. So now you're not bringing in business, so you don't market to save money, but not marketing also doesn't bring in more money. So again, you have to realize that by fearing the price tag, you're also fearing the result of what the price tag can bring you. It can go into, even as, like, let's say you want to hire a personal trainer, you want to hire a coach, or how we hired the franchise advisor, right? You reject a coach, because it's quote unquote too expensive, but then you're still stuck in that cycle, right? You're still stuck. You don't know what to do. So you're going to the gym and you're just walking on a treadmill for an hour. It's like, yeah, that you're going to burn calories, but you're going to hit a plateau as well. What are the things that you need to also focus on? What kind of exercises do you need to do? What kind of nutrition do you need to have? And not spending the money to find that out is the thing that's holding you back from essentially achieving your goals, right? Miriam says, I used to use the price of good gym / trainer, yet I would often buy junk food that, one, added up, and two, made me need the gym more, aka got me fatter. I got you. I mean, yeah, I mean, using a price tag essentially, or using something that is the resource, yet this is one of those things where you are kind of, how I say this, you're putting the price tag in a different way. You're using it as your excuse to be able to still do the things that aren't contributing to your goal, and then kind of using the out of, I don't know why it's working, or whatever the case is. But I could say from firsthand, hasn't been the case, for at least the last year. Your transformation, everything, I could tell that you're not using that style price tag anymore. You've really dove in, you've locked in, and that's one of those things where, sometimes, again, it takes an instant, it takes, a situation for it to happen. Like Ernesto said earlier, he had a stroke, and then all of a sudden it got, more serious for him. So sometimes we use that excuse. So I have a trainer, and all of a sudden you tell yourself, well, I can have this. It's okay. Like I work out a lot, but yet that you have a goal, and your illusion of basically being able to cheat the system is what's holding you back. So I'm glad, Miriam, that you don't have the price as an excuse anymore. And that you've really locked in, and you are definitely a role model for a lot of people. Your results, whether you see it, or whether you see the influence you have on other people or not, realize that there is a ripple effect that you have created, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your friends, whether it's your colleagues. I guarantee you've inspired a handful of people, not just one, but a handful of people, to really start to understand that it takes discipline, and that it takes hard work, and that it is achievable, and you don't have to tell them that. Your results themselves speak those volumes, and that's awesome, and you should be proud of yourself for that, because it's not easy and it's mentally tough, but at the same time, you already know it gets easier the more you do it. Not saying the workouts get easier, but the fact of coming in when you don't want to gets easier, right? You know that the cost of working out, the effort and the time, it's worth the result and the return on investment of that time and that effort spent, right? So again, kudos to you for the results that you've made, and I can't wait to see what results you make in 2025. So guys, just like the few people that have already, throw what is your 2025 goal in the comments. I want to see what your guys' goal is, and then I want to talk about a little bit of what the cost is, to that goal, whether it's effort, whether it's time, whether it is financial. But let's dive into it. Don't be scared, throw it in the comments. Realize that there's an illusion of saving money and saving time, right? For example, you hear those not infomercials, but like those social media posts of buy this course, and you can start making hundreds of thousands of dollars in a week or in 10 weeks. It's like, realize that you spending that $20 for that course is not going to make you a millionaire, right? Because while there is a small financial investment to it, you're saving money instead of hiring someone that's actually going to teach you how to build a business, how to do, achieve your goal. But then you're trying to save out on the time. You think that, you can create a business in a day or in a week that makes, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just not going to happen, right? Because the illusion of time, when you see a successful business, all of a sudden you're like, man, like I could do that. I'll open the doors and, build it and they will come. I'm sorry to give you the reality check. Just because you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. You have to put the time in to let people know that you're there. You have to build the time in to build the connections and build the community so that people want to tell other people about what you got going on, right? Avoiding the costs can honestly really often lead to a higher long-term loss, right? And that's due to a lot of the inefficiencies and really lack of growth and the lack of the missed opportunities that you could have had to condense your timeline. Every obstacle that you faced, you could have essentially condensed that timeline, yet you try to save money on the initial part. And, now you have to continue that cycle, right? You're on the hamster wheel, as we were talking about last week. Barbara said, I was super hesitant about doing the 11-week challenge because of the price. Thought it was a lot of money, but I'm glad I invested in myself. Now 30 pounds lighter and keeping it off. That's what I'm talking about, Barb. That is, I think 30 pounds off in 11 weeks, right? Most people set that for their entire year goal. And it just shows you what you can achieve when you invest in something that may seem a little scary because there is a higher price tag to it than you're used to, right? And then let's say just a regular membership, right? You're paying for something on top of a membership, but then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna do it. Let's see. I've seen other people's results, so there's proof of concept in it. And then not only are you having to invest the financial aspect, but now you have to really invest your time and invest your effort into sticking to the meal plan, to coming in all the days you normally wouldn't come in. Let's say you're coming in only once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. All of a sudden you're now, since you paid that price tag, you come in a little bit more. It's like, man, I gotta go in. Like, I paid extra for this. Like, I gotta make sure I'm getting the value out of it. But then what you don't realize is the real value is the results that are being showed to you, and the discipline and the skills that now you have kept that off. And it's been 2 months, almost 3 months, and you've kept the weight off, and you kept it off through the holidays, which is the hardest part. And that's why we do that second challenge right at the end of the year. So that's, again, kudos to you for that, because that is not easy. But that one investment has taught you the skills and has given you the self-confidence essentially to know that you can do it, that you are capable and you are deserving of it. You just have to put in the work. I like to say, when people kind of present problems and, want to do the why me, or, I can't do it and all that kind of stuff, the only thing that's holding you back is you. No one's going to come save you, right? Yes, you can hire a coach and they will help you, but if you don't do the work, they're not going to do it for you, right? You have to be willing to not just invest the financial aspect, but invest the time and the effort. We hired, a franchise coach, and it cost tens of thousands of dollars, not just, a little bit of money, but tens of thousands of dollars for the franchisor coach. And I had to spend a good amount of time there, but then it was like the things that we went over during our sessions, it was like I could have just taken that and like, okay, I got it, and then not done anything with it. And then that money is lost, because just because I know the knowledge doesn't mean it's going to just magically, work and the universe is going to give it to me. I needed to take action on now the knowledge that I know, right? I had to be the one to overcome the obstacles when they're presented. I knew the answer and how to get over it, and then I had to take action on it, right? So it's one of those things you have to realize that the universe, the grind, the hustle, it doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care, what's going on in your life. You have to check that at the door and give everything that you got. If you're going to do something, then do it. Your time is limited on this earth, so don't waste your time half-assing something. If you say it's a goal, then give it your all, right? Give it everything that you got to achieve that goal, because you definitely can. If someone else has achieved it, then there's no reason you can't achieve it. It might not happen in the same time frame that it happened for them, because your guys' life experiences are different, right? For example, me and Nick were able to open a gym, franchise it, we launched franchises within 2 years, almost 3 years. That's not a lot of case for a lot of places, right? And that doesn't mean that we were doing it better than someone else. Our experiences as we were doing it allowed us to do it, right? Someone else could have had everything going the same, yet something in their personal life could have held them back from, doing the 16 to 18-hour days that I was doing to get all the systems and processes written down, the manuals written out, right? So again, realize that there is a timeline differentiating factor for each person, but at the end of the day, you will get there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You just need to put the work in and not worry about how fast someone else is achieving their goal, and realize that your goal is your goal. Your journey is your journey. I don't give a shit if it takes someone else, a month to achieve the goal you're trying to achieve, and it takes you 3 months. Did you do everything that you could? Did you give 100%? And if so, then what are you upset about? If you gave 100%, then that's all you can ask. You should be proud of yourself. Realize that you have to trust the process, but you also have to embrace the process, right? And realize that the process is different for each person. So realize that your goal, as long as you're continuously going towards it 100%, then again, just keep going. Don't be comparing yourself to other people, because comparison is a thief of joy, right? Enjoy the little milestones that you achieve. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself the recognition for achieving those milestones. This is something that, Nick and I had to realize. Some people would tell us that, like, they'd give us kudos for how fast we were moving. And me and Nick weren't stopping to give ourselves the recognition, for the amount that we were able to do in the time frame we were able to do. And then I was in a mental space, and I had to really dig in, because I could tell Nick was at the same space I was, and we had to have a talk about it. And then I was like, dude, if you really think about it, think about where we were 5 years ago. 5 years isn't really that long ago, right? The gym wasn't open. It wasn't even locked in yet. It wasn't like I was so personal training. Think about where we were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? It was just me and you in here 3 years ago. We didn't have trainers when we first opened. And so all of a sudden, when you think about, dang, how far we've came in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it's like, what, at this pace, no matter the obstacle, we've proven to ourselves that we can overcome the obstacle, right? And where will we be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years if what our track record was for the past 5 years? It's like when you look at it that way, you're like, okay, damn, I need to stop being so hard on myself and really stop to smell the flowers, to say, to like, per se, for the milestones that you achieve, right? Barbara said she can't wait for the more results to come. Hashtag skinny and stronger Barbara coming. Oh, believe me, I don't doubt it, Barbara. I do not doubt it. I mean, you've already proven it to yourself, and that's the main person you need to prove it to, right? I can tell when you ask questions and, we've had our conversations and stuff, you took it to heart and you implemented it. And so it's one of those things where you have to be able to trust yourself and believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then your subconscious knows that, and it's going to act in which way you actually believe. So even if you don't feel, and there's a sense of imposter syndrome that can come with this, even if you don't feel like you can achieve it yet, you tell yourself that you can, even if it feels like you're lying to yourself, because your subconscious doesn't know if you're lying or telling the truth, right? So for example, when I used to do personal training, and if Ernesto's still on the call, he'll know for sure I used to do this. People would tell me like, you look tired, and believe me, I was. I train personal training, 12 to 16 hours in a day, back-to-back clients. It was one of those things where I'd have bags under my eyes, but I just kept going. And every time someone asked me if I was tired, I just told them, nope, I'm good. And they'd be like, oh, well, you look tired, like you have bags. I'm like, no, I'm cool. You ready to go? And every time I would tell myself that, I started to believe it, right? And like I kept telling myself I'm good, and then my subconscious basically told me I'm good, and then it wasn't as bad. So you have to realize that if you're telling yourself that you are on the right track, even if you're starting to question yourself, I am on the right track, I just need to keep going. I am doing the right thing. My coach is telling me to do this. My trainer is telling me to do this. I don't see the results yet, but I know this is the path, and you keep going on it, you will eventually see the results, right? Fitness is one of the hardest things, right? Just like business. That's why I love the relationship between the two, because fitness, you start your workout. Let's say, right now it's January 3rd. People have, signed up for the gym, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And whether they came all 3 days or they came one day and worked out as hard as they could, left it all on the floor, you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't see a change. Now, that could be extremely disappointing, but realize that you need to go again. And then you wake up the next day and you look in the mirror and there's still no change. Now you can let that disappoint you and demotivate you, or you can realize that there's a time cost to this. There is a time cost and an effort cost. You are spending the effort. You are investing in the effort spent every time you're in the gym. But the thing you cannot cheat is the timeline, right? Whether you see the results right now or not, you know that day after day, doing the same thing and being consistent, inevitably you will get to the goal that you want to, right? Barb said, Miriam said, Barb, yes, let's do it together in the spring. I think you're talking about the spring challenge. Barb said, Strive is not just a gym, it's a community. I love the push, and I'm getting to keep me motivated. No, definitely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, we try to, incorporate at Strive. So I'm so glad that, it is working, because you can't just say that, I can't just say we have a community here. It's something that, again, there's a timeline to it. We've tried to build a community and tried to build a safe space and essentially a tribe of people that you come in and these are your people, but that doesn't happen the first day you open your doors, right? That's built on the relationship and the rapport that the trainers, the members all start to build with each other over time. Think about your best friend in the world. You guys didn't become best friends the first time you guys met. You guys probably might have been acquaintances and then became friends. And then it was all of a sudden over time, best friends, because you guys have spent X amount of time together and or overcome certain things together. And that time, that effort and stuff spent together is what allowed you to become quote unquote best friends, right? The same thing goes for your goal. You want your goal essentially as your best friend, and you need to spend the time, the effort, and sometimes the financial cost to achieve the result of you getting what you want, right? Barb said, I just need to invest in new gym clothes. LOL. Unfortunately, sometimes that is the cost of, so sometimes your goal has a cost, right? For example, your initial goal of losing weight, it has a cost of effort, it has a cost of time, it can also have a cost of money, which let's say for the challenge for yourself. But now you hit that goal, which now led to another cost of new gym clothes, right? And it's not a bad return on investment either, right? Because now getting to buy new gym clothes, what is the investment? You obviously have to buy it, so it's financial, but there's a motivational return on investment, because you getting to put on clothes that are a couple sizes smaller, you all of a sudden have this immediate gratification of, wow, like I'm not wearing the size I was before, and that only makes you want to work out harder, makes you want to stay more consistent to continue that path, right? But sometimes, let's say business, Ernesto had mentioned he's opening up a new office in Nevada, or that's his goal, right? His goal, or one of his things, his initial goal was for his business to grow. So his original business has grown, right? And now as a result, he can expand, right? So that was his goal, right? Grow so that he can expand. So now he can expand. All of a sudden that has a new cost to it, right? So sometimes your goal leads to additional costs, but your additional costs from your new goal is only going to lead to a higher return on investment, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, or whether it's a freedom return on investment, right? Financial, time, whatever the case may be. Geraldine said that her goal is a fitness goal and it's to gain more muscle. Gee, I want you to put an amount on that, right? I know you show me your in-body scans and everything, but what is your current muscle, and what is your muscle goal by the end of the year, right? And obviously we can talk about that, after your next in-body scan tomorrow or Sunday. That's, when you said you were going to do it for me on tomorrow or Sunday, so we can track that progress. But we need to set a finite, goal to it. What is your goal, and when are you trying to achieve that by? Because otherwise, just, generic goals leave you to get generic results, right? If your goal essentially is, I want to be happier, cool. But what does that mean? I want to start a business. Awesome. What business? When do you want to start it? Why do you want to start it? Right? I want to lose weight. Cool. How much weight? Right? You have to set the actual number to these things and set a deadline to them, or else it's not a goal. It's just a dream. Write it down, write an end date. Like, when does it need to be? When's the target for it? And then that way you can start taking those steps. I can even tell you, for myself and for Nick, we literally set our goal for 2025, right? In our back office, we actually have a huge calendar that has, it's a Stripe calendar that we created, but it has all the months, and then all the days on one big, huge, like 5x6 poster or something. And we broke down, okay, what is our goal by the end of the year? And then we broke down, okay, so what are the quarter milestones that we need to hit? And then we broke those quarter milestones into monthly milestones, monthly into weekly, right? So that way we can start executing on those. And so each one has a numerical value to it, so that we can make sure that we start to implement a plan to actually achieve those things. Ernesto said, keep going. Much love and respect. Barb, I think it's to you. Patty said, Barb, you're doing great, girl. Ruth, thank you all for pushing me when I first came in after breaking my leg. Yeah, Ruth's another one. You're one of those ones that's a killer in the gym, and from when you started till now, it's one of those things where you spent the time. There was definitely a time frame where it was like things were a little slower. You could tell that there was some frustration, but then all of a sudden, day after day, you got stronger. You healed up, and now you're one of the athletes in the gym, right? So you just got to keep it going. What else do you guys have for your guys' goals? What are your guys' goals for 2025? Right? People are throwing in the comments. Let me see what else you guys got for 2025. Patty said, strive as a community where we all push each other all the way, 100%. And Patty said she loves staying in the red zone. I love when you guys stay in the red zone with the My Zone. Deco said the Strive t-shirt fits great around the arms, especially when you work out biceps. 100%, Deco. I mean, I don't think it's the shirts that fit good. I think it's the muscle that you're growing. Another person that from the day you and Nat started, it's you guys are prime examples as well of what you guys can do, and you guys created an accountability system within even your own household, right? And I think that's one of the big things is that we can face is when one spouse has a goal, the other spouse isn't aligned with that goal, and it can lead to a little bit of struggle or resistance on achieving that goal. So one of those things where if your goal is to in the fitness space, then see if your significant other will support you in it, right? Have them set a personal development goal for themselves, and then you guys work together at it so that you guys are both growing together, because either one of two things is going to end up happening. One, you're going to continue to grow and they're going to grow with you, and then you guys are going to grow together and level up together. Or two, you're going to continue to grow and they're not, and all of a sudden you're creating a gap in between that is only going to create a disconnection at some point, right? So whether it's fitness, whether it's financial, whether it's entrepreneurial, whatever the case may be, the best thing I could say is create an accountability system within your own household if possible. It will help you achieve your goals that much faster and make you achieving your goals feel that much easier when you have a team behind you at home. But at the same time, for the members here, like they already know that they have that accountability system here, right? So if you have an accountability system at home and you have an accountability system at the gym that you go to, I mean, there's no stopping what you can do, right? There's no telling what your journey is going to be like. I guarantee that if that's the case, your timeline to success is going to be that much shorter, right? Because you are motivated and you are held accountable in every aspect of your day, right? Whether you're in the gym or whether you're not in the gym, your people, your tribe, the Strive tribe, everyone's holding you accountable to, essentially hitting your goal, right? And I want to say like the true cost of, inaction, realize that the hidden cost of not investing in yourself is staying the same, right? Missing those opportunities, wasting time, prolonging the struggle, but it's a hidden cost that you might essentially save money on it now, but long-term, you're going to be going through the same cycle on that same hamster wheel, right? So it can even go into realize that the cost of inaction, let's say you're avoiding therapy, you're going to continue to struggle longer and longer, like with, let's say, physical therapy or with, getting something fixed, like when Ruth broke her leg, right? Let's say she avoided going to the doctor. Well, now you're going to prolong the opportunity essentially of healing up and healing up correctly and so forth, right? Going into, let's say, business, you postpone the action of creating a website or redesigning your website. Well, the hidden cost of that is that you're losing the potential customers or clients that you would be achieving, and the reason why you wanted to redesign it, but you're not taking action on doing that. So again, there's the hidden cost to it. And realize that there's a difference between planting seeds and buying quick fixes, right? If you're trying to invest in shortcuts to life, realize that those quick fixes are going to have a long-term cost to it, right? You're going to struggle a lot longer versus planting seeds, right? Planting seeds meaning, like, let's say you sign up at a gym, you're planting the seed of building the habits you need to not just achieve your goals, but keep your goals, right? Like Barb said, she invested, and now not only did she lose the 30 pounds, but she was able to keep that 30 pounds off. And now she knows and has the skills to continuously do that and stay where she is and continuously grow further than that. But she could have, got a quick fix and, bought a crash diet or something and lost 30 pounds. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, the holidays hit, or a month later, the holidays hit, and you're up 35 pounds, right? And then you're buying another, crash diet to drop the 30 pounds plus the additional 5 that you gained, right? And then it's this yo-yo effect that you have of basically results back to where you were, results back to where you were, instead of, understanding that planting the seeds, and just like a plant or like a tree, it takes time for it to grow. It takes time for it to flourish. And you have to be willing to water that seed day after day. I mean, again, I'm not the best of, plants, but for the analogy purpose, you have to water that plant day after day and realize that that's what is going to give your seed nutrients so it can flourish into the tree that will be around for years and years to come, right? Let's say Patty said the spring challenge. G said she's gonna do her weigh in tomorrow. Perfect. That spring challenge, try better to stay on the meal plans. Okay, there you go, Patty. Believe me, you already know that we're watching the social media posts. Miriam said my goal is to be 30 pounds lighter by the end of the month. Broke into 7 to 8 pounds by the end of the year, broken into 7 to 8 pounds per quarter. Also, I'm assuming lower fat, my fat to a healthy range. No, definitely. That's a solid one, right? You set your goal, you broke it into quarters, and then you break that into, months. If your quarterly goal is essentially 8 pounds, you know that you have to hit a little over 3 pounds, or between 2 to 3 pounds per month, right? And actually, no, you'd hit, closer to 3 pounds per month, so that you can hit essentially your quarterly goal. And then all of a sudden it doesn't seem so big of a bite to chew when you're like, oh damn, my goal is 30 pounds. That's a lot of weight, and then when you're like, oh well, I only have to lose 2 pounds this month, and really if you break that down, that means it's a half a pound a week. You're like, oh, honestly, that's not that bad, right? Half a pound a week, that's 1 pound is 3,500 calories, deficit. So really I only need 1750, 1,750 calories in deficit for the week. Oh, that's not that bad. I could do that in, a few stride workouts, stay tight on my nutrition, right? Boom, easy. So you break it down, and then all of a sudden your goal seems a lot more realistic. Let's see what else you guys got. Patty said, I need new shirts. Mine are too big now. So I'm talking about, that's the hidden cost, the positive hidden cost of achieving your goals. Let's see. Patty said, after the challenge, I thought I was going to go back to my old habits, eating everything I wanted, but I was able to stay on track even with all them tamales in my kitchen. Exactly. Right. So, it's one of those things where, don't get me wrong, like, you could still have that treat here and there, but sometimes you think that, well, I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to end up, only doing this for the short time frame. And then you realize, or what you don't realize, is that short time frame of 11 weeks, well, it may seem long, it goes by fairly quick. You're building these habits that are set in stone, that you don't even realize that you're not going to want to eat everything that you did, because you know that it's going to have a negative effect on your results, right? And so sometimes a hidden return on investment or hidden benefit of something gets shown to us through the process, right? And so I will say sometimes you just have to understand that when someone says trust the process, there's a reason for it. If you trust the process, especially if you're trusting it from, someone that's already walked that path, believe me, like it's going to sound bad, but it's not like you're not special in the meaning that you can achieve it too. It's not working. If it's not working, it's not you. You're not special in the sense of it's not working because you have a special, or a special negative factor to you. It's not working because you're not putting the effort into it, right? You are more than capable. You are more than deserving of it, but you have to realize that it takes the same effort and the same result as anyone else. You have to spend the time, you have to spend the effort, you have to spend the money in some cases to achieve that, right? You're not going to just, get to cheat the system and get the results that other people that are investing the time and the effort are receiving. So realize that you have to plant the seeds and your goal, which is the tree, will flourish. But with that being said, and Barb said, Ruth is a beast and she is strong. Yes, she is. With that being said, guys, I do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your guys' Fridays, to hop on, to engage in the comments. And, remember that these episodes are for you guys. And so I do truly appreciate the people that are contributing and throwing stuff in the comments. But again, these episodes are all for you. So when we do go live, if you guys have a question or if you guys have a concern in any area of life, this is, fair game for you guys to, bring it up and we can dive into it. We want to give back and we want to continue to help you on your journey to success. That's what the Mindset Cafe is all about, is helping you condense your timeline as fast as possible in any way possible that we can. So make sure you guys let people know that we do go live on Fridays so that we can help them as well, right? That's the reason we do it. And with that being said, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys and all the support and everything you guys have shown in 2024, and we'll show in 2025. I appreciate y'all, and like always, see you guys on the next one.
No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. Just in the game of life, mindset calls the shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted. I stay on my grind, no time to